Hey guys, Dom here at Red Leaf Ranch. It's a beautiful day. The perennial gardens look so nice and all the lilies are going off. So I'm gonna take you guys on a tour through the whole garden and just show you some of my favorite plants that are happening right now. So let's go. So I'm gonna start off with the first garden that I began planting when we moved here 2 years ago. It's the garden in front of the house. Everything looks so nice, and just for 2 years it is just so ridiculous how big and beautiful everything has grown. Tennessee is an awesome climate for gardening. What it took me up north to do in 5 years, literally in 2 years happens here. So first one I'm gonna go in on, and one of my favorites in the garden over here right now, is this lilium. This is Anastasia. Beautiful flowers. They smell so good. This is its first year here in the garden. Originally got this from theliligarden.com. I love them and I love their lilies. They usually have the latest varieties and their quality is like impeccable. Huge bulbs. You could see how beautiful these are and they smell so good. I love the substance that they provide the garden with. A nice big pile of pink and that white edging. Really nice. Oh, you okay, Zen? The dogs are always eating stuff and choking and always getting into trouble. Here's a big hibiscus. These are huge this year. And the thing that's really awesome about the hibiscus here in Tennessee is, originally coming from Pennsylvania, you get one bloom out of them, like one flush, and then the frost comes and they're pretty much done for. Here in Tennessee, you get a whole flush and then a couple after that. We always have like a second blooming of everything here down south, which is so nice. You could see the Mexican feather grass in the front. I love this in all the gardens. It really adds a nice soft touch, and the movement is really pretty when the wind blows. Here's a giant datura or moonflower. These only open at night, and we'll do a video on those, but this one has been here for 2 years, and it does get so big that it takes over the front of the garden, but honestly, it's just so beautiful. Who cares? I love when it kind of climbs out into the walkway. We'll probably cover this whole area, even out to there, by the end of the year. Here is some Nepeta or catmint. It's not in its prime right now, but it still has some flowers. I should probably cut it back and let it do a second flush. It smells so good. Love that smell. This garden over here, I'm not going to get too much into. It's super new, still working on it. Have some alocasias, some giant bananas, brugmansia. It's so awesome that brugmansias come back here. I'd say the only thing with them here in the south is that it'd be nicer if we could get them started earlier, maybe put like a cold frame over them, because as soon as they start to get all their flowers, it's usually toward the end of the year, and I just don't think it's long enough to enjoy them. But this bed will eventually look really nice. It's just beginning. I've been taking my time on it. But we'll go back through here. I love the salvias mixed with the guara, campanula. All these things are very tough and hardy, especially down here in Tennessee. I wish I could have caught this for you guys, but this is Rutabaga maxima. It's my favorite in the coneflower family. They get huge, kind of silvery blue leaves and foliage, and then are topped with really tall flowers. This thing's about 7 feet tall. More hibiscus. Once the hibiscus start blooming, it definitely adds a lot of pop of color, because there's one there, there, and there, and there's a ton of brugmansia behind the house. We did have a late frost this year. Late as in literally like the end of May, and it did stunt quite a few things, but overall really nice. So that is the front garden. I'm gonna take you to some of the gardens over by the garage, but before I do, I need to find out where I put my coffee. It's right here. Okay, here we go. These burning bushes were here when we moved in. I'm not about like ripping big things out, so I'm gonna leave these here and just work with them. I always like working with the landscape, not trying to rearrange it so much. So those are beautiful, and in the fall they get really nice color. So this is the garage garden. Excuse my makeshift rain barrels. We had some rain the other day and there was just so much. I'm like, I gotta collect as much as I can. So I just put some of these out here, and literally in 5 minutes, they filled right up. Love it. So I'm gonna start down here on the edge. Wow, everything looks awesome. This is my first year growing these, the artichoke cardoon. Look at these big flowers. These are in the thistle family, and the bees absolutely love these. But they had a really nice texture and size in the garden. They're huge. The leaves are a little ratty now, but when they first come up, they're just these big, huge, silvery looking leaves, and the texture is just really nice. This lily's looking awesome. This is Lilium triumphator. This is also my first year with this one. It is another one from the lily garden. It smells so good. Wow. It's a hybrid, I believe, between a trumpet and Lilium longiflora. Really nice. Here is Crocosmia lucifer. Nice red flowers. It's a little against the building here, so I might move this out a little bit. It does seem to get dry, and I can tell looking by the foliage that it probably wants a little more moisture. There's actually one that I just noticed growing back here. Oops. And it's covered with, I don't know, it looks like maybe mealybugs or something, but really tough, resistant plant, so not worried about that. You can see we have carex planted here. I love it. I believe this is Aria. Beautiful golden foliage that just spills over the edge. I had some cabbage in here, but now the cabbage worms, butterflies are flying around and laying all their eggs on stuff, so those were prettier at one point. Here's another lily. This is Lilium fusion, which is Pardalinum crossed with longiflora, which is the Easter lily. I love these, great mix. Here comes Speciosum. This is probably one of the last lilies to bloom. Usually when this blooms, I'm like, oh, summer's coming to an end. It's only July, but by the time those bloom, it will be toward the end. Here is a really nice one. This one is, I always get this one confused. The one in the front is Leslie Woodruff. I believe this one is Scheherazade. Very similar, but huge flower spike. This thing, if I stand it up straight, is probably 6 feet tall. But it's bending over, a lot of buds on it. And definitely one of my favorite. I love the Oriental hybrids that are pendant and have the hanging flowers. Beautiful. The Wisteria's taken over the garage. Rip that siding off. Go for it. I love your purple flowers. Here's a nice honeysuckle. This thing was amazing in the spring, and it's still continuing to flower. It's really taking over the trellises there. I love it. Coming out, you could see more of the Mexican feathergrass. I love Mexican feathergrass. Just so beautiful. Here we have Kniphofia, or red hot pokers. I love the kind of arid look with the cactus, the Kniphofia, the grass, all very hardy. And then this daylily here kind of has some of the colors of this. Really nice. Here's some of this beautiful purple. I believe this is a verbena mixed in. Spreads really nice here. Added some shrubs for a more formal look and winter interest once all the foliage dies back. The yucca here stays all winter. Love that variegated foliage. Check out this coreopsis. This thing was a huge bush in the spring. I couldn't believe how big it was. Now it's bloomed for a really long time, and it's on, I don't know, probably its third bloom cycle. I chop all the flowers off. I deadhead it, and that encourages more. But it's just so big, it's kind of flopping over. And the center's spread open, but so sunny and beautiful. Look at that. They look like little sunshines. Here's a really nice, this one here, I believe, is Leslie Woodruff. Huge lily. Love it. Some more Nephothia and daylilies. So like I said, this is just the second year. We've lived here 2 years, and second full year, and everything has done really good. And like all gardens, I mean, you could be a master gardener and just throw stuff in and know the plan and the spacing, but I think the fun of gardening is, you know, planting what you want and what you love and mixing it together and seeing how it grows. And it could take a couple years, and sometimes you have to rip things out, move them around, and that's the fun of gardening. Sometimes one plant will get bigger than you expected if the conditions are right, or smaller. So don't be afraid to move your perennials and plants around if they don't seem like they're happy or they're overcrowding other plants. I've definitely had to learn that. Planted this garden. The whole garage is going to be redone. I want to put cedar shakes on it so it looks more cabinish. But in time, have some Japanese Hakone Kloa grass, Japanese forest grass. It's doing really good. It gets some pretty bright light here too, and it does get really hot, and it's doing really nice. Just a slower plant to establish, but once it is, it's just so beautiful when it gets really tall grassy foliage. Another nice one that blows in the breeze. A Japanese maple. I had this vision for this door, and Brian and I built it. There was no door here on the garage. It's kind of a weird shape for a door. It's very thin, but we just used some leftover wood on the property and built that. Got some more Hakone Kloa grass over here. A nice weeping cedar. All of this is new this spring. I've never really been into shrubs and trees as a gardener, but I just think once you're gardening for a while, naturally the shrubs and trees maybe are the last ones to fall into place. Learning their importance. They are the backbone of the garden. So up here is where I did, you know, some experimenting with larger shrubs and trees. Really nice. This is a walking stick, it's called. Look at the weird twisted foliage on this. I love it. And in the winter, it's really, really nice. Let's see if I could get in here. Wow, love that. The scientific name of this one is Cornelius abellana. Beautiful. What else we got going on in here? Got some, let's see if I can remember the science name of this liriope. Ophiophogon nigra, maybe? Anyway, it's a black liriope. I love it. Gets nice flowers, and it does spread, so this will eventually be a mass carpet of just black, beautiful leaves. This is my favorite maple in the garden right here. This is a blood moon Japanese maple. Oh, let's see if I can remember the scientific name. Acer. Oh my god. It's like Shigaguroshu or something. There's actually a tag on it. Shira Sawanam. Yeah. It's a little... Some of these names are really interesting, but Blood Moon is the common name. Beautiful, and the foliage in the fall is so intense. This one here in front is an azalea. This one's Mandarin Lights. It's a beautiful bright golden orange flower in the spring, and it looks so nice against the complementary foliage of this maple. We got some fescues, big fescues in the front. Soften it up a little bit, but still have some bulk. It's another Japanese maple, Bloodgood. But yeah, for everybody's first year, everything looks beautiful. This is a Colorado blue spruce. I might move this. I would love to get the globe, the dwarf globe spruce, to put in here. I don't think I want this thing getting as big as it can, and I think it's a little shady here for it, so might move that. But it does look beautiful. Here's a nice oak leaf hydrangea. All kind of cute stuff growing in here. Really want to just work with more miniature and smaller growing things. It's a beautiful one with a Hinoki cypress. It's another one I believe is Aria. Nice gold splotched leaves. Here is a Japanese maple, and this is this one's first year, like I said, and I don't think we're gonna see any nice growth and, you know, foliage on this until next year. It was growing in a shade house with no wind, perfect conditions, so it's like, hey, I'm not happy out here, but I'll adjust next year. So it will be nice and full next year. Some heuchera or coral bells, nice dark foliage. There is rhododendron. But yeah, overall this front garden's looking pretty cute, and I can't wait to watch it grow in. There's one back here I wanted to show you guys too. The red twig dogwood. I'm hoping for some really nice intense red stems on this in the winter. There's a red twig and a green twig dogwood, and in the winter they get so bright in the stem that it really adds a lot of nice color to the garden, especially in a mass planting. Hydrangeas, built this fence. It's all out of leftover wood that was on the property. This is a newer garden over here. I lined it in brick. We have so much of it. Got this log. So you could see what a garden looks like when you're beginning it. Have to lay down some cardboard, kill a lot of these weeds, but everything looks beautiful in here. There's another maple. So this is a rough work in progress, but it's gonna be so cool when it's done. You can see how I lined out the path. Can't wait to complete that and just work on it. It's a really fun project. It's gonna look awesome when it's done. Here is the shade garden. This looks a lot nicer in the spring when there's a lot of ericemas, which are kind of like a calla lily blooming. The heucheras have a lot brighter foliage, but everything looks pretty happy and lush. I grow a lot of rarer things in here. Like I said, the ericemas, some lady slipper orchids, some Dracunculus vulgaris. How's that name for you? I want to see, there might actually be an ericema in bloom over here. This one I didn't even see come up. Not this year, but it did make a couple bulbs. Beautiful foliage. Let's see. There's more ericemas. But yeah, this garden really is the nicest in spring. It's more of a specialty garden hidden under the trees. So now I'm going to take you guys into the perennial gardens that are in the vegetable garden. And always remember, guys, dream big. Dream big. Here's another huge hibiscus. Another giant moonflower that is going to take over soon. But everything in here is just starting to blossom out. This one is another garden that's a work in progress. I just noticed this dahlia here. Nice. Planted some dahlias last year by the garage garden that I showed you guys, and it's a little shady over there in the evening, and I found their stems were a lot lankier and they didn't bloom as well. Out here in the full sun, they're just so much sturdier and compact, so I'll get the ones by the garage moved out and put out into these beds. So here we go. Hi, ladies. Got these beautiful hornbeams. We're gonna train them into an arbor. Let's go over here. Here's a nice annual that is great to grow in the garden. The pollinators love it. It's a Mexican sunflower, Tithonia. Really bright, beautiful flowers. And really soft leaves. They're so pretty. These get huge. This one's just starting, and they produce a lot of seeds, so it's one you could collect seeds from and grow it year after year after year. Coming over here, we got some Agastache blue boa or hyssop. The bumblebees love this. See them in there? Another one that smells so good. Just rub your hands up the leaves and smell it. A lot of nice medicinal properties too. Some blue fescue. Just put more Rutabaga Maxim in here. This garden was one of the last ones too to get some plants in it, but it does look awesome for its first year. Got some nice Cleome, dahlias, a beautiful hibiscus. I love the color on this. I don't remember, but this variety's raspberry something, I think. Really, really nice. Some more dahlias. Love this round one. Hibiscus. Love hibiscus. These get a lot of flowers here. I wish they lasted a little longer. Oh, I hear Mr. Grumpy Bubbles in the background. That's what I call the rooster secretly, Mr. Grumpy Bubbles. Here's more verbena. Beautiful. Blooms a lot, and it loves to be deadheaded. And it does spread. Some Artemisia, great silver foliage. A native plant. This one is Rattlesnake Master. Really cool texture in the garden. Red Velvet is a lily that just went up. There's the last petals. It was so pretty. The lilies don't last very long, but they're definitely worth it. And if you plant enough varieties from the Asiatic to the Oriental, you'll get a nice show of lilies from spring closer to fall. So it's about mixing them up and getting all the different varieties in there. Some more guara, just adds a nice pink mist to the garden. Some agave, Perei var truncata. Where's a truncata var Perei? Somewhere in there. Here's some nice blue Japanese bloodgrass. Did I say blue? Red. Love this. Love the color on that. So that garden looks beautiful. There's all the veggies. And then here are some lamb's ears, sedum, more Artemisia and Mexican feathergrass. Artemisia gets huge. I've been clipping this back. Got some Pravatsky in here, Russian sage. But the garden definitely goes through its peaks. Right now it's in between. It's going to go for another peak. There's some more lilies about to burst, and the Russian sage still has to open up a lot more. It'll be a lot more purple. The yarrow has been great. Look at all the butterflies. Yes, love it. I think those are the cabbage worm ones. I love you guys for pollinating, but not for eating our cabbage and stuff. Love this. This is a native perennial, Monarda punctata. If you guys grow bee balm, this is another variety, a different species. This one is punctata, and it gets these tall kind of stages of flowers. Look at this. The bees love this. Have a pink one here, and then this one's all white, which is really nice. But very showy. Love it. Gonna see if I could collect some seeds on that and grow them. Got this bush in here, topiary style, for some formal feeling. Get a load of those rattlesnake masters. I'm surprised. I didn't really think these were gonna get this big this year. They were so little when I planted them. Some Leotris over here, or gay feather. A yucca. Loving this penstemon. Oh guys, look. Wait, how did that happen? There is a sparrow going in this birdhouse, but I swear a tufted titmouse came out of there the other day. So I don't know what's going on. Does a sparrow live there? Does a tufted titmouse? Do they love each other? That's interesting. Here is some salvia. More of the cardoon. Look at the bulky flowers on this. They're huge. Can't wait to get some seeds and grow a lot of those next year. They're just an awesome plant in the garden. You could tell I love fescue, carex. They just look so nice together. Just nice splashes of color in the garden. Here's a nice crane's bill geranium. How nice is this? Just keeps spreading and just keeps flowering. This is one I'm really excited for that has not bloomed yet, but it is coming. It is Angelica. It gets a nice big, I believe this one's Angelica purpurea. It gets a nice big flower on top that kind of looks like a carrot flower or Queen Anne's lace. They're related. Really nice. This is my first year ever growing it, so I can't wait to see how that is. It's doing really, really nice. It's a beautiful, it's a David Austin rose. I forget which one this is, but it gets beautiful, soft yellow flowers. Love this. Here's Miscanthus giganteus. This is giant elephant grass. First year, this thing will get taller than this trellis I put here, close to 14 feet. It's looking awesome. Another one I can't wait to divide and share with people because everybody needs a big grass in their garden. Here's more Mexican sunflowers. But yeah, everything looks really, really nice for its first year. Could you believe this garden here is its first year? It looks like it was here forever. I'm serious about gardening, guys, so I got a lot in here and it is doing so nice. It's a hibiscus. We'll make another video of this when it blooms. It's Lord Baltimore, my favorite. It gets bigger than any hardy hibiscus I've ever seen, and huge red flowers. Hi, little sparrow. So awesome that all the birds are moving into the houses we put up. I almost felt like it was a little late in the year, but they're all moving in. Here's another awesome rainbow euphorbia. These are just such beautiful garden plants, and I love the foliage. It's nice to plant perennials with nice foliage. and kind of rely on that as your color, and then think about, oh, but there's flowers too. Because when things aren't in flower, if you plant a ton of green leaves and you don't have flowers, the garden can look a little drab. So that's why I have like these grasses, the carex, the artemisia. Even the Pravaskia has beautiful gray foliage on it. But it's just so beautiful. There was a big clump of lilies there that I absolutely miss. It really capped the garden off, but next year we'll see them again. I'll leave you guys with this beautiful hibiscus. I hope you enjoyed the perennial garden tour. And we will be posting more photos as it progresses over the years. It's going to just get better and better and better, because that is what perennials do. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Get out there in the garden and plant yourself some flowers. Thank you guys.